Uh, what's up, y'all? You know who it is. CJBK, targeted individual. This is vlog number 15. So, basically, I worked this morning, it was alright, got caught up in that rain on the way to work, but at least by the time I got to work, it started raining. Of course, by the crack of dawn, by the time I open my eyes, I'm hearing the V2K going, constantly. And then for some reason, every morning that I'm walking to the train, about to make my way to work, I'm always basically trying to, I have this Bible app. And I kid you not, this is hilarious. This is how I know, these are some, like, people who are controlled by some evil spirits, right? Every time I try to listen to the Bible, because it's like I always listen to King James Version, or when I'm reading the Bible, I read King James Version. Every time I try to listen to the Bible app, they always disrupt my cellular network so that it would stop, right? They would find a way to stop it from playing. And I kid you not, every time I mention the word God, they get louder. They start yelling. They start having all these negative reactions. All I gotta do is just say God or just say Jesus, and all of a sudden they just get really animated. Matter of fact, they even send painful frequencies to my body and stuff just for mentioning the names God or Jesus. So, of course, I'm always in the daily battles of dealing with the painful frequencies. They're trying to cause pains in my left hip, trying to say his osteoporosis is acting up. When I ain't never had no damn osteoporosis. I'm 32 years old. I don't got no osteoporosis. That's just frequencies that they're sending to my body. Then for the last 3 days, they've been causing an electrical disturbance in my heart, and I could feel it every so often, where it would feel like my heart is almost trying to it's almost as if my heart is about to stop, or it'll be one big poof, and I could feel almost as if I'm gonna have a heart attack, or my heart is about to explode or something. What else? And then they've also probably located the exact spot in my lower back where I've had an injury, to my back in 2008. So they found that spot, so now they're targeting that spot with the frequencies. But no, this video I wanted to focus more on the full circle of what I started understanding about electronic harassment. Like I said, I didn't necessarily become aware of my targeting until about, October of 2020. It wasn't until, that fateful day where I was just, sitting in my apartment by myself watching movies, and then all of a sudden, I just started getting the V2K, and you know what? The exact show I was watching is this show called Evil. In a nutshell, it's a priest, a Catholic priest, or a priest in training, a psychologist, and a computer tech engineer guy. these three get called out to go and investigate special events that may have occurred, and the Catholic Church sends out the priest in training to see if it's actually a case where it's something that's actually spiritual, or if it's something that can be explained by something that's a little more tangible. And that's where the tech guy comes in, and the psychologist comes in. So stuff like exorcism and stuff like that. So I was watching, I was just finished watching an episode, and that's when I got the V2K. So trust and believe, I definitely was freaking out because I didn't know what the hell synthetic telepathy was, or V2K, any of that stuff. I just finished watching a show about, demons and and stuff like that. So it's crazy because I experiencing this. I literally just did what all three of them do in the show. I've come to the understanding that there is a spiritual aspect to this, but the tangible part is it is human beings using technology to basically psychologically harass and possibly inflict damage onto unsuspecting victims who aren't necessarily aware of this type of technology. Just to bring all this back full circle. So after leaving the hospital and realizing, okay, the hospitals are in on it, they're not necessarily gonna do what's needed to be done to actually help me. All they want to do is just diagnose you so that they can write you off as a misdiagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia and stuff like that. I came home and I started doing so much research, as much as I could. Then I started to find myself reading up about IMSI catchers or IMSI catchers. Long story short, stingray devices that basically it's like a device that acts as a fake cell phone tower, and it forces every cell phone within its vicinity to ping off of that device. And once it pings off of that device, it could basically gain as much access and data about your cell phone, and then be able to coupled with another device, they can actually be able to disrupt your cellular network, or even send messages or make phone calls, or whatever it needs to do to your device. If it wants to downgrade your cellular service, it can do that. So a lot of people may be actually living or in areas where there's supposed to be great cellular service, but then all of a sudden they're like, why do they have only 2 bars, or why do they only have 1 bar? You're probably hacked and don't even realize it. And what else? Then there's so much other stuff that I was learning in the very beginning. And I remember I had an Android. I had an Android at one point, and the V2K, these perps, they were all like, you're not supposed to be using hotspot in this area. You're not supposed to be using hotspot. So I don't know. They kept disrupting my phone service. They kept hacking it, doing all this stuff. So what I did was I just got rid of the phone, and then I basically switched over to Apple because I heard that Apple was supposed to be the most secure phone. But I feel like I made it worse by going to Apple. I feel like I made it worse just by getting an iPhone, and then I found out that iPhones actually have much more weirder hardware capabilities than what needs to be in the phone. And then that's when I started to learn about how you can use their phones, EMF to basically, you can use the phone's EMF to hack a person's brain activity. Trust me, I have the proof. If you all you gotta do is comment below, and I will send you the exact case study. I will send you the articles from it could be either Wired or it could be not National Geographic. It could be Science, whatever. I forgot the name of the website, but it's not like some buku whatever type website. Like these, like everything that I bookmark or save is usually a very legit resource, because I'm usually like always kind of hesitant about posting something that I know someone's going to be online like, oh look, you got this, you're using like this particular site, blah blah blah. So I always try to use something that was actually studied or peer reviewed, or anything that's been verified by other tech people or doctors and stuff like that. So this guy, Mr. Mike Smith, he's another TI, and he was telling me about how, like, just earlier today, he just sent me some videos about IMSI catchers and how they're using these surveillance things, and I was watching the video, and they're like, government services, and government, the 3-letter agencies that use these devices. And then I remember reading about how some surveillance advocates here in New York City, they pretty much forced the NYPD to disclose all of their surveillance technologies that they use, or at least some of them or most of them, and like literally document it and post it online so that everyone can see what they're capable of doing. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people know about this document that's online, but I've read it. It's kind of scary when you read about the type of technology that they actually have and what they can actually do. But it makes sense, because the NYPD is probably the largest, most powerful police force, in the United States, probably next to LAPD. What else? But it kind of just rang out to me. I was just like, I know my perps are not cops. I know they're not federal agents. They could be ex-military, but then at the same time, I'm like, at this day and age, I know that they're like in their like early 20s, mid 20s, something like that. So I'm like, in this day and age, if you know how to code, more than likely you could probably figure out how to hack. And if you can figure out how to hack, you probably know about all kinds of devices that's used for hacking. But then I found out the prices for some of these devices. Like, some of these things are like hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff. But at the same time, I'm also aware that the government issues like third-party contracts to, different groups, whether it's like Neighborhood Watch or, anything, or, I already know the government issues out third-party contracts to like whoever's willing to buy and probably share their data with their use of the equipment, because, well, there's no way that anyone's just going to be using this technology and then the government not know about it. That's impossible. The government basically sees and knows everything. They just haven't made a move yet. And that's what I'm saying. These perps, they believe that they're undetectable, and it's like, you're not undetectable. They basically just don't consider you large enough to make a move on. They don't consider you that much of a problem. It's not until they actually start to probably mess with the government themselves, that's when they'll become an issue. And I've gotten to a point where I realize the government don't necessarily care too much about what citizens are doing to other citizens, as long as it doesn't necessarily seem like, I don't know, like if it's like not causing a true disturbance in, quote unquote peace, or something that seems like it's disturbing the peace. And so because everything is covert and is done, quote unquote neatly, they're not going to care. I've come to realize they're not going to care. So it's just been in my mind for probably a couple of weeks now. I was just like, or maybe a few months, and I was just thinking, with all this technology that's out and all this like hacking and we're all stressing over this phone, new phones, and all this new devices and stuff, and people not realizing they're putting all these smart devices in their homes, whether it's a smart key lock. I don't know, why would you want to have an electronic key lock for your home? That doesn't make sense for me either. Because it's already one thing that somebody could pick your lock and just basically get in your home that way. But now, if your lock is going to be electronic, they can basically just wave a device over your lock if it's electronic, and then doop, it just pops open. So it's like I don't know. I've gotten to a point where I was just like, I'm about ready to leave all of this shit behind. I kid you not, because you know what? I remember the 2 or 3 years I spent where I was just living with a flip phone. I mean, a flip phone, and I didn't necessarily have like a laptop or a smartphone or anything else. It was just a flip phone, and I could go on the internet if I wanted to, but all I really wanted to do is just basically call and text. That was basically it. And when I think about it now, I was actually at a lot more peace with just that flip phone, because I was no longer like, I don't know, I felt like I no longer needed to see and be a part of everything, didn't have to worry about emails or whenever I had to work, it wasn't like I had to use my phone. But now, like so many jobs these days, they're requiring you to have a smartphone. You have to be able to check your emails and stuff like this. So it just started ringing out to me now, more than ever, that I'm kind of jealous of like the Amish, communities or communities that don't necessarily use a lot of electronics, or hell, some communities that just prefer not to live around other people who use a lot of electronics. We make fun of like tree huggers or hippies, whatever we like to call them, environmentalists that go and live off the land, and they're living in these like secluded rainforest like areas and stuff like that, and they just basically build their own homes and grow their own food and stuff like that. But at the same time, they are some of the most healthiest and peaceful people that you can ever come across. And then whenever they come back to our society, they're just kind of like, I just come to see people that I haven't seen for a while and care about them, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to stay here, I'm going back. And it's like, you get it. They actually have found what it is to have true peace and joy. Because I mean that's kind of what God always wanted for us, is not to necessarily have our lives to be driven by devices. Because when you think about this this gang stalking, electronic harassment stuff, it's literally built to harass people who are living off of devices. So it's like, when you think about it, their only real power is what's not a part of you. And then in order for them to technically really use their devices against you, you have to be surrounded by other devices and other electronics. So if you actually took yourself away from what gives them power, you ultimately still have the most power. Because unless they're willing to see you face to face and go hand to hand, all of their power relies on electricity. All of their power relies on electromagnetic fields and external devices that's not a part of their that's not a part of their actual body. It makes me think about the times, back in the days when there weren't guns, there were just fists, feet, hell, you might have to catch a sword fight or two, but at the end of the day, that's when you knew when somebody was actually was a real person, that was some real, that's a real dude right there, but nowadays it's either somebody will use an electronic device against you to try to mess with your life, or they'll use a gun or a knife. Nowadays everything just became so simple. Everything became so simple and quick. It got to a point where some people, it's one of those things where I don't know. I've always hated the part where where I grew up is, you can't get in a fight no more, because the moment you get in a fight and you beat somebody's ass, they're gonna come back and probably try to shoot you dead. So it's like I don't know. If it wasn't for certain people that I really, really care about, in this society, I would have been left. I would have dipped and gone from this society a long time ago. I love the peace that I found while going to school in North Carolina, because I was literally one with my environment. It was such a very cool, chill, laid back, natural environment. My roommate, he was real cool and laid back. He was growing food in the backyard, and I was learning stuff from him, and we were all just we were just chill, and then I'd walk outside barefoot on the grass and just enjoying life, and hell, I didn't even really have cable there, so it was just most of the time I was probably either studying, or I'm outside probably working out or taking a jog and watching the dog enjoy itself or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to really just kind of get that off my chest, because I just had a full circle moment kind of day, and I was just thinking, I was the ultimate solution, well, honestly, the ultimate solution to all of this would be an EMP attack, which would basically shut everything off for everybody. That may create a ton of chaos, but I'm pretty sure if you're God willing, you would not be worried if you lost, electrical power. If you were God willing, you basically would, you would find a way, and God makes a way so that his children can survive no matter what type of calamity comes across their lives. So, yeah, I just wanted to get this off my chest. And, I got to keep doing these vlogs now because, I don't know, my perps, they're revving up on their activities, whether it's, to try to do something to basically cause an illness or a disruption in my life, or whether they're trying to see if they can wrongfully, convict me or wrongfully imprison me for something I probably didn't do. I already know that there's several people in the streets that's like taking my picture and stuff like that when I'm out, making deliveries and whatnot. So I know they're up to something, but God said, not to worry about that, But anyway, yeah. Sorry it's dark in here. I'm just laying down. I sleep on the floor because I know that whenever they're trying to radiate your body, if you're laying on something that have metal springs or whatever, you're basically lying in radiation and stuff like that. So but at the same time, it's not like I turned my circuit breaker off to everything in here, so they're basically still using the EMF and dirty electricity within the apartment to try to see if they can cause harm to me. So, but at the end of the day, everybody just stay strong. All my empowered individuals, stay strong. Remember, one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Patience is key. And remember, stay diligent, continue to do whatever research necessary to see if you can find a way to shield yourself from these radio frequencies, extremely low frequencies, extremely high frequencies. And then something else to just remind everyone, 3 particular materials that I found that might be actually very useful for shielding or grounding: copper, graphite, and something else that I just found out about, just recently found out about. I might pronounce this wrong. It looks like it's pronounced Emexin. It's basically MXENE. Those 3 materials, I still need to do a little bit more research on it myself, but they might actually be very useful for grounding for these excess electrical charges that they're trying to build up in your body to cause you illness and pain. The combination of like copper and graphite might actually, help with the shielding of, frequencies coming to, your head or your body and stuff like that. So, yeah, everyone stay blessed. And remember, keep God focused. Keep your mind God focused. God sees everything. He's not forsaking us. I always tell people, if you still have a breath in your body, God isn't done with you yet. If you still have a breath in your body, God isn't done with you yet. All right? Take care.